Hello, everyone. Happy January and Happy New Year. Welcome to the Community Development Advisory Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Christina, will you do our first roll call, please?
Yes, Chairwoman. Chairwoman Tester.
Here.
Ronald Crockett. Ron didn't say he wouldn't be here, so he'll probably join us in a little bit.
Okay.
Raymond Hill.
Here.
Ella Kane.
I'm here.
Thank you. Vernon Perry Jr.
Here.
Shauna Nefos Webb.
Here.
Thank you. Steve Willinger.
Here.
And Dan Witcher.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Now we're going to go over the discussion of necessity for conducting an electronic meeting. If you guys will bear with me, I'm going to read that. In Governor Lee's Executive Order number 16, which has been extended through February 27th, 2021 by Executive Order number 71, suspended the provisions of the Open Meetings Act to the extent necessary to allow governing bodies to conduct their essential business by electronic means rather than being required to gather a quorum of members physically in the same location. One condition of meeting electronically is that if a member of CDAC or staff is attending by audio only, they are asked to identify themselves by name and position when they speak. In order to proceed with meeting electronically, the governing body should make a determination that meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. At this time, it would be appropriate for the members to discuss whether they believe that meeting electronically is necessary and vote accordingly. If the members do not agree that meeting electronically is appropriate at this time, then this meeting should be adjourned until such time as the members can meet in person. So do I have a motion that it's okay to meet electronically and we deem that it is necessary to protect our health and safety and welfare?
I make a motion.
Yes, ma'am. I so move.
Okay. Steve, do you want a second?
I do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and roll call, Chairwoman? Okay.
Yes, please.
Chairman Tester.
Here. Yes.
Ronald Crockett. Absent. Raymond Hill.
Yes.
Ella Kane.
Yes.
Vernon Perry Jr.
Yes.
Shauna Nefos Webb.
Yes.
Steve Willinger.
Yes.
And Dan Witcher.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Has everyone had a chance to read over the minutes from our November 10th meeting?
Yes. Yes.
Does anyone have any questions or discussion?
I move they be accepted as submitted.
I'll second that.
Christina, will you do the roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. Chairwoman Tester.
Yes.
Ron Crockett. Raymond Hill.
Yes.
Ella Kane.
Yes.
Vernon Perry Jr.
Yes.
Shauna Nefos Webb.
Yes.
Steve Willinger.
Yes.
Dan Witcher.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the public hearings. We have two public hearings that we need to talk about. And the first public hearing is the public hearing will now be open for the 2019 CAPER. The purpose of this first public hearing is to provide citizens of Bristol, public agencies, and other interested parties an opportunity to review and comment on the city's program performance this past year through the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, also known as the CAPER, for 2019. A 15-day comment period in conjunction with this public hearing has been advertised in the Bristol Herald Courier for January 12th through January the 26th, 2021. Are there any comments for this first public hearing on the 2019 CAPER, or would anyone like to speak to the 2019 CAPER? Are there any comments from the public? There being no further comments, the public hearing will now be closed. I would like to ask for a motion from the floor to approve the 2019 CDBG CAPER.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. If we could have roll call, please, Christina.
Yes, ma'am. Chairwoman Tester,
Yes.
Ronald Crockett, Raymond Hill,
Yes.
Ella Kane,
Yes.
Vernon Perry Jr.,
Yes.
Shauna Nephos Webb,
Yes.
Steve Willinger,
Yes.
Dan Witcher.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The public hearing will now be open for the 2021 one-year action plan. This second public hearing provides citizens of Bristol, public agencies, and other interested parties an opportunity to express views regarding the identification of housing and community development needs within the city of Bristol, and sets aside time for staff to respond to proposals and comments. Interested parties are encouraged to comment at this public hearing or within 30 days following this public hearing. This begins the process for planning of the 2021 one-year action plan for the Northeast Tennessee, Virginia Home Consortium, as well as the Community Development Block Grant Program established by the City of Bristol, Tennessee. Public meetings will be conducted during the year and comments welcomed throughout the planning process. A 30-day comment period has been advertised in the Bristol Herald Courier for the time period of January 12, 2021 through February 11th, 2021. Would anyone like to comment regarding any housing or community development needs within the city, within Bristol, Tennessee city limits, or Northeast Tennessee, Virginia Home Consortium footprint for planning of the 2021 one-year action plan? Are there any comments from the public? There being no further comments, the public hearing will now be closed. All right, let me go back to my agenda. I'm sorry. Is there any old business that we need to discuss?
Yes.
Christina?
So I have great news. The recommendation from this committee went to City Council early in December at their December agenda, and they did approve the COVID CARES Act project, which was our partnership with the United Way of Bristol for utilities and food vouchers for the low to mod income individuals who have been affected with COVID in our community. So I think that's a really exciting thing. We presented it to HUD. They approved it. They have sent us our signed agreement, and United Way has the agreement with the city right now, reviewing it. So I was hoping to get this started sooner than later, but I think it should be up and running in the next week or so.
Good job, Christina.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm really pleased with how it's all turning out. It's a big partnership. Everybody's working together, and so yay! If you could see me, I'm giving a thumbs up.
And all the players came together and were willing to do what we asked them to do, right?
Yes, it's very good, very good, very good.
Have you heard many requests for needs of help at this point?
Yeah, we're already starting to get some phone calls. You know, it's not even been out in the press yet. You know, we haven't had a press release or any big news, but people are calling for help and they are being directed to the United Way, and they're already started like a wait list for folks. So if
Great.
you guys need that, send them to the United Way.
Perfect.
And then the 2019 caper, you guys saw that. I think Marjorie's found a couple of little corrections that need to be adjusted, and I'm sorry for the typo. I've been
It's just typos. It doesn't change the content. It's okay.
just little typos that I need to correct. And Steve, with Bristol Housing, instead of 2.5 million, we're going to change him to 2.4 million received from HUD. So not a big difference on anything that you guys have there. So thank you to those of you that have read it. It's a process, but I think it is really good information for us, for the committee to know, what we do in the committee or in the community.
Community, yes. Yes, I agree.
That's all I have, Chairwoman.
Do we have any new business for this meeting? My screen says none. Anybody out there in Zoom land have anything that you want to add?
I don't know that it's real new business, so I don't know that there's anything we can really do in our committee. I know we have had opportunity on the Sidewalk Project to interject. I was just noticing State Street, the pavement is in bad shape in quite a few areas. Even some potholes beginning to be developed. I think the Virginia side is worse than the Tennessee side, but that State Street is probably going to need to be repaved in the next not too many months, or we'll start losing some of the base on that. I'm sure the city's probably already looking at it, but I don't know if there's any funds at all that we have or would be able to do for that project. That's just a comment, I guess.
Does that fall under our responsibility to pave the streets?
Well, I think we'll take it back to the powers that be, Dan. We'll be glad to do that.
Right, and if there's any funds, what I'm getting at, if there are funds for that type thing, they might be interested if our committee needs to do anything to get those funds released. My guess, it's probably mostly federal through the Federal Highway Administration, but I'm not real sure of that.
Thank you.
Did Ron ever join us?
I don't think so. That's not like him either.
Yeah, okay. Okay, on to other matters. The CDBG and Home Staff Monthly Reports. Do you have those updates from November and December, Christina?
Yeah, I emailed you guys my reports for November and December. We've been kind of busy. I'll let you know that in November, we finished the substantial rehab on 300 Summerwood Drive. In December, we signed contracts on 1237 Carolina Avenue, which was an emergency heat pump, 602 9th Street, which was also an emergency heat pump, and 205 Willow Street, which was an emergency with a water line issue. And already in January, we've signed 906 Kentucky Avenue with an emergency roof. So it's been pretty busy, but I'm having some issues with people who haven't paid their back taxes. I'm also seeing a lot of non-insured homes that are calling for help. So, I don't really have much of a wait list at this point. So if you guys know anybody that needs our services for, even emergency, quicker than later, this is the time. So send them our direction. We got to spend these funds, okay?
That's Tennessee side only, right, Christine?
The Virginia side has the same program that we do, Vernon, but that would obviously come from the Virginia side. So Tennessee side only for us. Yes, sir.
Okay.
This time of year is tough on taxes. The taxes have been due. So this time of year, some people who paid them late because of financial difficulties, it's going to show up right now.
Yeah, and I think what I'm seeing is people who were struggling anyway are really struggling now. You know, even with the stimulus checks, it's just compounding, really. And there's, you know, we can't make exceptions to that rule. I can only recommend them to call other community people who may potentially have funding for them.
Yeah, it's a tough time of year. Okay.
And I was hoping Ron would be here to give the Bristol Day Center update. He's been very involved with that process. And I know that they've picked a location to move forward with. But, you know, I don't want to disclose that. They're going to have to take it to get a special use permit through the city of Bristol, Virginia. So I think they have a little bit of work to do before that address is actually announced.
Okay.
I have a question about that. And for the Bristol Day Center, if we're going to go out and do some outreach and talk to people, wouldn't it be real handy to know where it's going to be? So that would keep me from rushing out there. I've read all the information that we have, but it would be cool to know, I think, that before we rush out.
And Steve, I'll give Steve a shout out too. He's on one of the committees. So thank you for helping with that, Steve. My recommendation, I'm trying to kind of not be in the middle of it, is to talk with Melissa Roberts over at Bristol's Promise, Family Promise, and I'll be able to get you her information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of keeping me and Ron on the blind side of that, because where he deals over here and I deal over at the Haven, we have no answers.
I don't have any answers either. So
Still to come.
still to come, I promise.
Yep. Okay. Bristol housing update from Steve Cyphers.
You fell asleep? Oh, there you go.
Hello. No, I'm here. I was trying to find the unmute button. Trying to think what to share. As I've reported previously in the last several months, we got quite a bit of COVID money, and we spent that on various items for the public housing program. And we received approximately $25,000 for the Section 8 program. And there were different recommendations that HUD had made, but we didn't like any of them. So we selected 3 of our home ownership participants, and we contacted them to see if they had needs. One lady, we made 2 mortgage payments for her, 2 months mortgage payments, which really helped her. And we had a contractor make quite a few improvements in her home. She had gotten a dog and had never had a dog before, and the dog had torn up the baseboard and peed on the walls and ruined the flooring and that sort of thing. So we've got her house in really good shape now. Another home ownership program participant wanted a deck and incorporate some storage because her house was so small. It's over on Taylor Street. So we are having her a deck built, along with some storage. And another participant, our first participant, had some huge pine trees in her yard, which came with the property when she bought it. And I mean, these things are huge, and branches kept breaking out of them, and she's worried about some of the limbs falling on her house or the neighbor's house. So we worked with our tree trimming person that we use here at the Housing Authority, and got a good price for her. And so we spent $7,500 getting those little big trees taken down and removed the danger to her and her children and to the structures themselves. So that's what we did with those monies. I thought that was a good thing to do.
Question, Steve.
Yes.
Home ownership programs that you're sponsoring,
Yes.
these are folks that you've helped find a permanent home to buy a home?
That's correct. It's for people who are currently on the Housing Choice Voucher Program, or what we used to refer to as Section 8. And basically, if they decide they want to become a homeowner, instead of paying, the assistance every month to a private landlord, we send it directly to the bank and help them with their mortgage payments.
So they're actually moving from a rental situation into a purchase.
Correct.
And that was between them and whoever owned that property. And then your organization is behind it, supports it, and sends the money.
Right. And I think 2 of the 7 we've done were actually the person wanted to stay where they were, and the owner was willing to sell them, the place where they were living. 3 of them have been brand new homes that have been built. So those folks really got a sweet deal on that. And I'm trying to think.
How do you help them with that? Is it just assuming the responsibility to send the money in, or you providing down payment assistance?
No, each person, we work with an agency in Johnson City who does all the financial counseling and gets their credit back in shape. And once they're qualified for the program, then it's up to them to go to the bank. And of course, we help them as far as finding the correct lender who will work with them. We do not make a down payment. But then each month, the bank is guaranteed that the housing authority is going to send X amount of dollars towards their mortgage payment. Instead of paying rent for them, we're paying a mortgage payment for them.
So the folks that are in the housing developments, if they can establish credit and they come to you, you can help them find a lender and put together just support them through it.
Correct.
Okay, awesome.
And like I say, once they purchase, then we love it because we're helping them own a home, in other words, rather than just renting.
Right.
And it's quite a challenge for some of these folks because they have to realize at some point they're going to have to put a roof on their home. If the water heater goes out in the middle of the night, it's up to them. They don't have us to call for it or their landlord. So there's a learning curve for a lot of folks that have never owned a home before.
Yeah.
But so far we've had good luck with it.
So the recent program where you had 25,000, that was an exception to the rule that you were able to use that to help those that, like you described, have a tree in the backyard or a heat pump go out.
Right.
That's what this money was for.
Yeah. And it was part of the CARES Act, or what we refer to as COVID money.
Okay.
But it was nice that we could help the people on the Housing Choice Voucher Program as well as what we've been doing, for the public housing residents.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was good. Sure.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome. We're trying to keep COVID down in the high rises. We went months and months and months with no cases whatsoever, and I've had to clamp down the last week or so. And I want to thank Vernon and Raymond for helping me with that. It's a lot of people don't want to wear the masks, but we've got to before this thing gets out of hand in the high rises, and we're limiting 2 passengers per elevator. And there's been some hard feelings and disagreements, but I think everybody's adjusting to it. So
Yeah.
They are.
World.
good. And Raymond, I was going to mention this while I got you on here. I've talked to the health department today, and I've got another person to call tomorrow to try to set us up some on-site clinics for the vaccines.
Thank you, Steve.
Sure. I do know that the health department's covered up right now and stretched very thin, but I'm going to try to make the case for getting them at each high rise for us.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Any questions?
No, but thank you for the update, Steve.
You're welcome, Ella.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Sure
We'll
thing.
move on to the announcements. Does anyone have any announcements or anything else that's relevant to our meeting today?
I do have a question, and it's sort of off the beaten track. I was approached, and Christina, I'm sure that you can help me with this. Several people over here on Bay Street and Elm and over there on, I think that's Windsor, they want to know what they can do since their children have been home and the weather has been kind of nice, that their kids are out here playing in the streets, and they want to know what can they do to get some signs or speed bumps up for the people that are speeding through here. Is there something that we can do to help them?
Yeah, we'll be glad to talk to our department about it for sure, Ella.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I said that I would ask. I don't know, and so thank you for that guidance.
You always got to ask, right? It's always no if you don't ask.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The only other thing I would want to add, Marjorie, is that ARCH, Appalachian Regional Coalition on Homelessness, is going to be doing the annual point in time count this year. They're going to do it January 27th through 28th. We're not going to be asking for volunteers because it's going to be a much abbreviated form than in years past. So I just wanted you guys to know that was happening. The shelters are going to take care of themselves. And, I think Arch is going to come out and just do a very light look for homeless camps.
Okay. I was wondering about that when I was reading the paper the other night. I was wondering, I knew it was about time for it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, any other announcements or discussion? Our next meeting, I believe will still be virtual because of the executive order goes through February 27th. So February 9th will be virtual again. So mark your calendars for the 9th at 5:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With that, we are adjourned.